little pain. in the detail.
All right, folks. Y'all know what time it is. It's 10 o'clock p.m. It's the midnight run as always on Friday, and it's that VINCEGWOD rum, which is what I got tonight. How y'all folks doing today? That's right, I am cracking the knuckles. Pugman, I'm already subscribed to Bobby Pug there, so I've been watching some of his good mints here. But how y'all folks doing tonight there? Got your endo ready? Got your beer? Got your water? What are you drinking and smoking tonight, folks? So let me begin as usual. I have a nice hand-rolled Nicaraguan cigar. I have some Dominican ones that are coming in, and I'm going to try the new Alex Brady ones. I got rum and coke, and I also have a cranberry vodka, coffee, and, of course, water. So I got a lot of things. I just got back home, so you can see I still got the watch and the pinky ring and stuff there on. So just had to change real quick. I messed up my leg doing something really bad, probably from the last workout, and I just didn't notice until then. But the great one is taking some aspirin. I'll be all right. You know, you got to be a man about things, not like a bitch. You know what I mean? So, but damn, it does hurt there. Ooh, boy. But yeah, as far as the juice is concerned, I mean, I now hardly feel anything in my elbow. It's the one good thing about juice is that it helps out with recovery very clearly. So, kind of pleasing there. So, I do get kind of a little worried about it, but you know, but my testosterone levels are going back up slowly but surely. Yep, as usual on Friday, Vegan Gains is doing this thing. Just let me know, folks, whenever he starts jigging or twerking or whatever those kids call it these days. I did make a video on Cuban, but I'll probably release it tomorrow. I'm doing a lot less daily videos because of YouTube and stuff. Only paying like $1.89. So I'm focusing more on writing articles in Google AdSense, which yields me more money for less stuff. Not only that, I want to put out more quality work. If I put out too many videos in a given day, then it lowers the quality of the work. So let's see what we got here. Reading comments. Dale Denton, that's no surprise about the Jason's memorabilia. I absolutely hate Cash Money Records. I hate them. Jim Rat, the Morning Wood is going great, but I'm still only jerking off twice a day there. So I still have a habit of things. Like I said, you can learn a lot from the Wolf of Wall Street. So, just get it done quick. You can get back to work there and stay focused. That also keeps you from having to think about sex all day. Just knock it out. That's it. Just keeping it real and telling it to you like it is. Chris, you got water? All right, I got water too now, so. Yeah, I've been doing a lot of deadlifts and stuff there and bench presses. Like I said, I've been lifting a lot heavier, so uh I'll be impressed to see what goes on, but yeah, I've been lifting heavier. I mean that's just a given what I'm taking right now, so smoking a pipe and wearing a rain jacket. Well, I'm thinking it's still a home invasion, Wally. But I know Tony's covering up some stuff. My autopsy video, it's still up there. I've not had any videos removed or anything. But I don't have an autopsy video, actually. I just have a report itself there, and that's about it. But none of my videos have been taken down. Otherwise, YouTube would have let me know. No, I didn't phone the police again. But yeah, my mom really yelled at me for that. But then she said I mean, in all due respect, like I said, I'd rather take a yelling than something happening to her. So you were already banned from Vegan Gains' channel last time I checked here. So how much money can you make if I write articles? Used to be a lot more back in the day. Nowadays, when I write an article, I usually count on Google AdSense for people reading it, and they'll click on ads and stuff. So not as much as it used to be, but at least it's going to be more than what I'm getting on YouTube at this point. So Google AdSense pays way directly when you're running your own website. It pays a lot more than YouTube. No, I took down the Rich Piana horrors video a long time ago. A lot of my old school videos were taken down because they were flagged by YouTube. So it was either get rid of those videos or simply put, get 3 strikes and I'm out there. That's also why Vegan Gains is in other people's channels don't have all their old content, because back in the day you used to be able to get away with more stuff. Nowadays you can't. It looks like we're getting a little blurry, so it must be some sort of bandwidth. Hopefully it doesn't cut out or anything. No, I made that video private, so no one can replay it to get anything. So, plus I've programmed her phone to where it only accepts certain calls there. Anything else it rejects there. In other words, only I, maybe my brother, my dad, and a few other people can call her, and that's it. Anyone else that tries to call, it doesn't even go to voicemail. It just says you're blocked. So, like I said, I worked at Verizon, folks. I can program phones there, so. Oh boy. But yeah, I took a little bit of aspirin. been on the phone with the suppliers and stuff there. Just a lot of stuff, but for the most part, the website updates are pretty much done and over with. I had my lady Rosalie from Pakistan. She went and did all the SEO work yesterday, and I'm just waiting on Google to start running ads for the Eagle One wireless. So I'm just glad all of that's done. So now I can actually concentrate on work for whichever job I'm going to get there. I may just take up a part-time job, but there's a lending company out there that needs a a loan consultant. So, like I said, once you've worked for Verizon, you can work anywhere. So I'm not really worried about work. So I just want to get everything done first. Jason Blaha is making your bandwidth story. You'll need to be more specific. I don't know what you're talking about. Well, Kentucky Blue, nobody is healthy, even me. So, I mean, health is a point of contention. It's just a matter of age, essentially, there, Kentucky. I mean, I'm in good shape, but like I said, anything can happen any day with anyone. As far as Big Lenny is concerned, I saw him on his video drinking beer. I don't really think that's too good of an idea, and it's not conducive as far as to what he's accomplishing. It's always important to drink in moderation. Like I said, I only drink once a week, I only drink pretty much once a week, which is on the midnight run. I've pretty much cleared out most of my liquor stuff. Most of that was for COVID, but I like going to a bar instead. So the only thing I got left is just a sliver of vodka left. I still keep my cognac there, and that's the only thing. I got my cognac, my cigars, and I'll probably just put a full coffee maker back up there like it used to be. Trips isn't in jail. He didn't screw a raccoon. But as far as Big Lenny being healthy, he still has a lot of heart problems and stuff like that. That's something I definitely don't have any clue on there. So, but in relative scheme of things, nobody is healthy out there. So everyone's got some sort of medical condition. But I think Lenny needs to really address his. Well, Lamar, Verizon's a U.S. based company. They don't have service out in Argentina. Unless you're talking about traveling internationally with your phone, yes, it's quite expensive. Uh, you probably want to go on the travel pass, which is $10 a day. Which, yeah, it's expensive, but it's better than picking up those roaming charges. It's a lot less expensive for T-Mobile because T-Mobile has international lines here as in comparison. Jim Rat, under no circumstances would I ever date Jay Masters. I think I've mentioned that before, but no worries. I definitely got no problem saying that over and over again. Theodore, I don't think the gun range is relevant to his situation. In Thailand and Texas, going to the gun range is like it's like going to the mall on the weekends. So I don't see much into that. Well, Joel, I like saying hi to everyone, but I'll say hi to you specifically. So, hi. Well, the thing about that's the one thing I don't want to have Raul as a sponsor. You see, if I have a sponsor on this channel, the nature of it is pretty much over with, because then at that point in time, they would control my content, you know, in other words. You see, and that's when you become a shill, you know. You see, Nick Trigili will blast anyone out there, but any company that he sponsors, despite the fact that even if it's a piece of crap company, he won't say anything about it. And I don't want to be put in that position. Yes, Joel, that's the bandwidth cutting in and out, so it's coming back up there, so you should be fine. Former coworker. I didn't get to that part to where I didn't get to the part to where I saw his coworker. So, but in any event, you know, folks, let's go ahead and get the cigar lit. Woo, boy. 1 for the money, 2 for the show, 3 to get ready, and smoke, smoke, smoke. Kentucky Brew. Leo was never in the prime of his life there. Like I said before, nobody really is. He was taking a lot of weird stuff. No, I would not date Nick Trigili. I mean, we're pretty much cool now since we've hashed it out in private and everything like that. At the same time, as far as Trigili is concerned, that would, personality wise, we would not be compatible. So. I am not debating anybody today. I'm not debating jack shit. I'm here to hang out with you folks and answer questions here. Fuck vegan gains and, you know. Hanging out with you guys. It's the midnight run. Why would I want to go beg Richard for... Then that means I would have to close out my live stream. I mean, I've had a very tiring past 2 weeks redoing the websites and stuff and getting things set up. Very tiring. I don't know what gerbling is there, Justin. Somehow it sounds kind of nasty, actually. But no, I don't know what gerbling is. Leg day starts with squats, afterwards leg curls, and then hammies, you know, and just 3 basic exercises. I almost forgot, got to do calves too, so 4. I keep it pretty simple, a lot of repetitions. Medium weight, I don't go super heavy with legs, I don't need to. I would actually, Wally, if I went over to Vegan Gaines' house, I would probably make my vegan fish sandwich there, actually. It's actually a pretty cool recipe. Either that or my teriyaki tofu. I mean, if I'm gonna go over a vegan's house, I'm not gonna go and disrespect them by bringing a T-bone steak or anything. You know, I've had Muslims over my house, and I've always served them halal food and stuff. And and when I've had my Jewish friends over here, I've had kosher food brought in. It's not hard to get halal food or anything like that, and even in the South. So you have to be respectful of your guests there. You know, it's very important. But as far as the what he'll bring, Richard would probably bring some tofu burgers or something like that, something that can be cooked on a grill. Specs on the cigar: Robusto, Nicaraguan long filler, Cameroon wrapper, actually. Or no, no, this is actually this is a pure Nicaraguan pure Nicaraguan filler and Nicaraguan wrapper, and it's a Robusto. Although because my cigar's cut out right around 10:30 or so, and too early, I've decided to get some Coronas, so that way my cigars last for the entirety of the show. Hmm. My workouts are now pretty awesome. I mean, I sometimes I have to slow down because then I go a little bit too far. So, but a whole lot better. Hello, Shizzo. How you doing tonight there? Well, KCB, I already own a vegan website, but usually I sell them. I'll probably end up purchasing more of them. So they're pretty good sellers. Hey, Athens. Hey, how you doing tonight there? I want to say hello to everybody again. If in case you came in, this is the Midnight Run, and it's VINCE in the house. Hope you brought your drinks, your Alizé, your Hennessy, your smokes, whatever you want. You know, it's all about hanging out and asking the great one questions and me discussing over things here. Speaking of which, y'all have heard about those bank updates, right? I mean, hopefully we ain't. Hopefully, Sleepy Joe doesn't go and give out our money for a bailout or anything. But I'm gonna tell you right now, if you guys have a Roku box, you may want to get a Fire Stick. Roku keeps 3/4 of their money in Silicon Valley Bank, and of course, FDIC rules dictate that they're only covered for 250,000. So they got their balls in the salad shooter at this point in time. Hmm. I don't have any new Leo updates. The reward is still out by his wife, so I don't consider vegan gains hot of any type. Never have. And considering the fact that he's my cousin, you know, it definitely wouldn't even. It doesn't even run through my mind there. What age strength does it peak, and what age muscle loss starts? I would say around 23 would be the time that your strength should actually peak. The muscle loss starts around probably at the age of 35, whenever your testosterone starts decreasing, Pugman. Mine went a little bit later, actually, and then most recently it just fell off the face of the planet, thus being on the TRT. But usually, when testosterone starts decreasing around 35, that's when the loss coincides with it. But good question there. Hello, Serratus. Hope you're doing good tonight. Whoa, Dale, rain is good for the crops, so I'm glad you're here. You know, I'm always good with the rain, so don't expect me to sing any Rihanna songs or anything. Oh yeah, I do got an update on PJ. PJ should be getting out this year a little bit earlier than December, but he's getting out early. Pugman, why do you say that? I mean, it eventually, when you get older, things just start dropping off and stuff. The good thing is my insurance is super low, so. Speaking of which, my birthday is next month. As always, I always do a donations type thing for soldier suicide. I'll probably put that up in my about page pretty soon. So if you guys want to donate the families whose husbands or fellow soldiers had committed suicide, you'll have the opportunity to do that. Well, I have both rum and coke, and I have cranberry vodka. I pretty much divested myself of most liquor now that COVID's pretty much over with, and that way I can spend my money at the bar, so I don't have to have my own bar. Yes, Athens. I mean, it's not just denouncement; it's actually deflection as well. 275 is low testosterone, Justin. Should be between 300 and 900, so it's a little behind the 8 ball, actually. I don't do too many dumbbell shrugs here. I've not done that in a while. The reason being is, if you do bench presses and pull ups and stuff like that, that's already going to work the shoulders. So, no need to really do a specific exercise. The TRT's going great. I mean, I feel a whole lot better here. So. Cuban's obsessed with me because I destroyed him on his chat, and then I just hung up on him. So I like Swedish fish. They're very tasty. Of course, it depends on who makes them there too. I've had some pretty bad ones. Good question, Tater Tot. The answer is no. PJ is in minimum security just like Aaron. No one's going to risk getting into a fight and getting sent to a medium or maximum security. I mean, only a complete idiot would do that. I mean, I'm not saying that hasn't happened before, but if you're in minimum security, you want to stay in minimum security. So, you don't want to cause any waves. I may do a live stream at the Swordfish outside, but I won't definitely do anything inside. Yes, I'm gonna do more reaction videos there, Pugman. I'm gonna do them on a separate date, actually. Like I said, even though I'm cutting down on my number of regular videos, I am going to increase the live streams instead. Because that seems to be a lot more popular these days. So, yep, I'm going to do that, and I'm going to get the LTE router going, so. I would definitely debate Cuban, but I would end up destroying him, so. Thick cut, I used to build my computers back in the day, back in the mid-90s. I stopped building computers back in 2012 because there was so much e-waste around. I could just simply buy a computer for pennies on the dollar. And if I needed to put, and the thing about it is I would buy a computer if I needed to put something in it like a video card or so forth, I can just put it in. It's just a lot cheaper in lieu of just going out and buying individual parts. I have a copy in reserve. The book hasn't been released yet. It should come out in April actually. Cuban wouldn't be able to keep up with my lifts. Me and PJ never got along. I've not spoke to Singerman since he got back out, so I told him to keep his head low, but that didn't work. But Aaron's a grown man. He's a good Jewish kid there, so hopefully he appears to have somewhat learned his lessons in prison, but that, we'll have to see what the future holds, but I am not my brother's keeper, Sometimes I'm my cousin's keeper if I can ever if Vegan Gains ever listens to me, but so yeah, video cards are pretty bad right now, so oh yeah, I have a really nice computer. Bought it real cheap too, an HP, and that's why it has a dual monitor connection. A lot of these companies, they shut down, they lay off people, and they have all these computers around. That's why I don't really need to build one anymore. There's like hundreds and hundreds of these computers just laying around. They just clean them up and just give. This computer actually is the exact same computer I used when I started at Verizon in 2016. The same make and model and everything. I would have a dual boot of both Linux and Windows, actually. You don't want to run Linux by yourself. You won't want to run Windows. You can dual boot that. Install Windows and then install Linux and partition the disk. Because there's certain pieces of software like Quicken, that only runs on Windows. So you want to use both platforms, but I would dual boot. Don't just run Linux by itself there. Because then you're missing out on software and vice versa. The reason why I didn't get along with PJ is because I was friends with Aaron. So, yeah. I mean, me and PJ were cool at one time, but when Aaron and PJ split up, everyone had to choose sides here. And he even asked me, I'm like, I gotta go with Aaron. But even at this point in time, it's pretty much even Stevens, so honestly, I'm just gonna avoid both of them. I mean, I helped out Aaron whenever he needed it and stuff. If he comes to me, I'll give him a hand and everything. But I think it's important for me just to avoid both of them at this time. Let Aaron do his thing. I'm going to do my thing. Well, mac and cheese is carbohydrates here. You should eat oatmeal. Steel cut. Have I ever been in a gang? No. Never been a Crip or Blood. Nah, I think Aaron's long over the heroin thing. It's not a requirement for Aaron to grovel or pay me for helping him out or anything. I told him that like clear that I don't want to be compensated for helping him out there. The thing about it is, if you're friends with someone, you don't need to freaking ask for money. And not only that, everyone was already groveling to him anyway. So the last thing he needs is another moocher. And I don't need Aaron's money anyway. Would I date an Ice Cube? No, he looks angry all the time. Even when he's smiling, Ice Cube looks angry. Susan, if I ever killed someone, I wouldn't tell you. Why would I go to jail for? Who knows? Maybe I was responsible for Leo's death. Just kidding. Y'all ever notice Ice Cube looks angry all the time? You know, there's certain actors out there that just look just look constantly angry. You know, Gene Hackman came out in public there for the first time. Well, he didn't come out in public there. Just some cameraman just decided to sneak up on him to see what he was doing. Up there saying he was in bad shape. Gene Hackman is perfectly fine. He's freaking 93 and he's walking around and driving. I hope if I ever live to be 93, I hope to be doing what Gene Hackman did. I mean, what do you expect? You expect Gene Hackman to look exactly the same at the age of 93? These news reporters are idiots. Oh yeah, also James Bacuzzi, he got out too, so he's out of prison. So I'm glad he got out. But he was a moron for actually trying to go through that whole case here. You know, I'm just glad he's out. I didn't want him doing any time there, you know, and stuff. Not much time or anything. But he wouldn't have gotten any time there. But you know, I'm not going to fall on the sword for either Aaron or PJ. That's for sure. And that's exactly what he did. It's respectful. He didn't snitch or anything. But at the same time, he didn't need to do that. But it's done. I'm glad Bacuzzi's out. So, I always like Bacuzzi there, you know. If I was going to start a supplement company and I needed someone around, the first person I would call would be James Bacuzzi. Bacuzzi is someone you want on your side there if you ever start a supplement company. No freaking joke, neither. Who turned down a $9 million role because he didn't want an injection? Not Gene Hackman. Gene Hackman's been retired for like 20 years. Who are you talking about? Oh, you're talking about Ice Cube. Yeah, I mean, Ice Cube has a lot of money, so he can reject roles for any reason he wishes. Yeah, good old Beretta passed away. And as usual, instead of, you know, they kept focusing on how he killed his wife there, allegedly. And they always use the word allegedly, but we know good and well that the media just likes to say, they just want to just stick it to him one last time, you know. Just honor the man. He was an actor who was found not guilty, you know. Well, my granddad lived to be in his 90s, you know. But yeah, we do live long, so as long as we don't get hit by a bus or anything. Yeah. Minimum security doesn't allow pets, not even support pets. Joel, I'm doing fine there, except I messed up my leg. I'm just pretty exhausted from the past 2 weeks of putting together sites. Well, right now I got cranberry vodka left. The rum and coke is gone. I got coffee and I got water. You mean Jared from Subway? I don't know. He's probably taking a foot long up. Well, I can't say that up here. Unless you're talking about a different Jared. I don't know a Jared Earls. If I started a supplement company, I wouldn't hire any spokespeople or models or athletes. I would just get stock footage. But if I did, I would consider you definitely for an offer since you always come to my live stream. So yeah, that would be if I had a second choice, need a spokesmodel, you could definitely sign up for the job there. Just keeping it real with you. Dave was on both Aaron and PJ's mailing list. I never was here. Pugman, it is smoldering, but that's the way you actually want it. If you put too much heat to a cigar, Pugman, it ruins the flavor. Actually, you want it warm. You want a cigar to be warm. That way, it doesn't burn out the flavor. You ever notice how people just puff on it so much? I'll just puff on a cigar once a minute. That keeps the cigar cool and that keeps the flavors in. The people that do this, they're basically bringing up the temperature of the tobacco to where you essentially lose the flavor. But the flame, there's not supposed to really be a flame at this point, just whenever you're lighting it. Good question, folks. Once you light a cigar, you want to make sure that it's just lukewarm. You don't want it super raging hot. If it's hot, you're gonna ruin your cigar's flavor. You're gonna ruin the profile. You won't get that. You won't get that flavor. The retrohale will be horrible. Horrible. I did see that there, Rollo. I saw the female, and let's not use the PM word, but yeah. She wasn't that bad. She wasn't a crack whore or anything, so. At least from the pictures, well, yeah. Would I appear on Fresh and Fit? Probably. I mean, I wouldn't really care about that. Jim Rat, the U.S. dollar has already collapsed many years ago when we moved away from the gold standard, in my opinion. I think at this point in time, we're just printing money. But I think most of the stuff is becoming virtual anyway. I mean, we live in a society in this day and age to where we don't even have to pull out any cash or change anymore. I'm not going to address Adam Harper given the situation, so I'm not going to. I don't even want to get into. I know he's having a couple marital issues, but I want to be very respectful, and hopefully you guys are as well. You know, because I've had marital issues too, obviously when I was married, so that's just something I hope him and his wife work out. But I don't really want to get into their business on that type of level. You know, I'm not that type of person. No, I appreciate that, Chris. I mean, yeah, if you're working a night shift there, it does get kind of boring. I mean, I did security on night shifts, and yeah, it can get sleepy. Russell Brand, I have nothing positive or negative to say about him. He's just a human being walking the earth, and that's the best way I can describe it. So he doesn't impress me that much, you know. Yeah, if your cigar is too hot there, you're gonna ruin your cigar completely. It should be smoldering. I would rather have to relight a cigar than to just get it too hot. Lenny said that one of his ew. You know, I never figured out why in the world would you want someone to take a dump on your chest for? It's just freaking nasty. Well, sir, it is just because you're in paradise doesn't mean everything's going to be paradise, you know. I mean, they're in Costa Rica. I mean, after the sights and everything are seen and you get used to it, you're going to still settle back down to regular life there, you know. Well, Wally, again, I don't really want to discuss Adam Harper's business You know, like I said before, they're having marital issues. I'm just going to leave it at that, you know. I think it would be very disrespectful because Adam's a good friend of mine, you know. So, like I said, I just wish the best for him. Quick pump, I did not see the plastic bag head scene there. So, Keanu Reeves is cool, you know. He's an awesome guy, you know. You know, he takes a pay cut in order to make sure his co-workers and extras are paid properly. So, oh, there's a million stories about me. I've told a couple here. Speaking of which, speaking of Lenny, I can tell you about one time. You see, where was I? I was in Red Pod working. Red Pod is the really crazy section there, and I was doing my rounds, and there was a guy in there. He was making a snowman out of his poo, like a little tiny snowman, just rolling up his shit and balls and stuff there, and just putting them on top. He goes and waved at me with his little shit covered hands and stuff. You know, I just went and walked by. You know, long as he wasn't hurting anyone, so he was making little poo snowmans. Yes, Adam's married to a woman. Yeah, we went over that. Sean G sells an orange hoodie for $350 because people are willing to pay $350 for it. That's a whole thing. I never have any problems with someone selling an item for a very exorbitant price. You have to let the market dictate things. When I worked as an engineer for Icon, I got, you know, if you wanted me to come work out on your copier, it was $150 an hour, you know. And that's an exorbitantly high price, but it's what Icon could get away with, which of course is now Rico. Yeah, I would say so, Matt, that he's a little angry because of that. But not everyone can be a star these days. Yeah, Adam's a great guy there. He got Genova in shape there, so. Wally, I don't think growing a beard is very important. If he needed to have a beard in a movie, you know, Hollywood can just give him a beard. I'd rather be the Samuel L. Jackson of the Genoverse, rather than Keanu Reeves. What's up, Zacho? How you doing tonight? What did I think of the Arnold Classic? I think the judges are getting sick and tired again of the big physiques with the stomachs out, and they're looking towards aesthetics. They made that pretty clear with the placings that they're going to go with aesthetics. That's why my predictions were so wrong. That eliminates William Bonac. That eliminates Big Ramy, obviously. My mistake in doing my predictions, if I knew the judges were going for aesthetics instead of size, then my picks would have almost matched it. But I was wrong. So that's why my predictions were so off there, you know. But you know, every year it's hard to guess what the judges want, you know. Yes, prison workouts work. Body weight exercises, you know, they definitely work. When you got nothing to do and you have hours to do it, yeah. Yeah, prison workouts always work because they got nothing else to do. What else you gonna do other than sit around and read? You can either read, you can technically watch TV, but you're not gonna get any channels. You can't stay in your cell during the day, you know, or anything like that for the most part. So the only thing you got left is the chit chat and work out. That's why prison workouts work, because you got nothing else to do, so you can work out every single day, 2 or 3 times a day. That's why inmates are ripped, you know, usually whenever they work out. Well, it's to be expected that Arnold would go after people like that. I mean, after all, his father was in the Nazi party, but anyone that was in Germany at that time was in the Nazi party, so you can't be too hard on Arnold's dad or anything. But that is good for Arnold there, you know. I don't like Semitic people. There's a bunch of cooking videos on my channel there, Jim Rat, where I've actually cooked food. I would not date Samson Dawa. I don't date bodybuilders. Hugh Jackman is not natty. I can tell you that for a fact. In fact, I pretty much know the guy that sold him drugs. I'll give you a hint. It's a IFBB pro that retired and now trains all the celebrities and stars. His name starts with Stan, so want you guys to put that together. Book of Dark, I would never watch something like that. You know, I'm beginning to really like you. You're always with these dark, decrepit things. Yes, Joel, I can see your messages here. Is there a minimum height requirement for being a corrections officer? Not that I'm aware of. Although you would, even if you were very short, they can just put you in the mailroom. When you work a state or federal job, they're not allowed to discriminate. As long as the Panthers get the right amount of proper people in place, I don't care what type of trades they do. And Joe, definitely appreciate the donation. Yes, I could see your comments, although some of them are being blocked, actually.
Can you see my comments?
It used to be to where I could still read them out and they would be just available, but nowadays a lot of comments, if, like I said, if you continue, in certain cases there, a lot of times when YouTube continuously sees comments that violate the rules, they just completely blank them out for anything, including me to read off. So, but I could see those comments, but thanks again for the donation. Curly top or rhino, what are you referring to, Quick Pump? Can't wait till my Coronas come in. That way my cigars will last all through the show. Well, Brian, just because they get the overall pick first pick doesn't mean anything. I mean, we've seen people like the Vince guy for the Raiders and stuff. First round pick doesn't really mean anything, you know. Hey, Scatman, how you doing tonight? Well, Serratus, I do have a Streamlabs link. It's at the very top. Money for the Swordfish. Chris, I read some of them there. Other ones, they can be a little too much to read. But if I find it's okay, then sometimes I will read it. But I have been flagged. My videos have been flagged and put on limited because I've read off certain comments. So I have to be very mindful. Like I said, YouTube is not the same as it used to be. Got to be a lot more careful. No, not Stan Lee. I've only smoked cigars for about 5 years, actually. On a regular basis, I started smoking them in 2018, so not too long. The reason being is I was still competing at the time, and whenever I was competing, I didn't drink or smoke or anything. But now that once I stopped competing, then I've relaxed the rules. No different than Jordan. Jordan actually smokes about 6 cigars a day. I'm still at like 2, but I smoke a really small one in the morning. I mean, a very small one. Now, Scatman, it looks like he retracted that comment, but that's okay. I knew 2 people that got monkeypox, or at least they said they got monkeypox. They could have just gotten it confused with chickenpox or so. Either that or they were just doing it to be cool or something. Some people are so narcissistic, folks, to where they'll make up something just to garner sympathy on social media. I thought they were full of shit, actually. I saw Troy Aves. He was up there yesterday. He actually just ran an ad. He's still looking pretty good. And he would have done definitely very good in the Classic Physique. Darren Charles won a couple of shows in the Classic Physique. So I can imagine Troy would have done well. Oh, I love Clint Eastwood and Kevin Costner. Great actors. You're joking, Wally. No, I don't think Richard would go and slap someone on. Quit messing with me. No, I don't want you overdrafting your account there, Tater. Keep that money in your pocket. I'll give a shout out for Jason. Genoy. Tater Tot says, hey. From the Great Ones Midnight Run live stream. So there, you can keep your money in your pocket. Like I said, it's always good to get donations, but I don't run these live streams for donations. I run this for the peoples, fellow piss troopers and everything. Because this is I'm going to say this again. I'm going to smoke and I'm going to still drink on a Friday, but I'd rather do it with people. I like hanging out. I don't like drinking and smoking alone, folks. It's just not my thing. So why not do a live stream while I'm drinking and smoking? So free shout out, no problem. Well, Serratus, some studies do show that it does improve memory long term because nicotine is a stimulant. Yes, I've seen that show. Only the reason why I've seen a couple of episodes. I mean, after all, he was William Riker on Star Trek. It's a pretty interesting show. So, not something of my taste or anything, but I've always liked Jonathan Frakes. I grew up watching Charles Bronson flicks, The Death Wish and stuff. When I think of a Charles Bronson movie, I also think of a Telly Savalas movie for some odd reason. Yes, I've met Stan McRae before. I've met him a bunch of times. But you are getting close here, so. I do have the Streamlabs link. It's right at the very top there, you know. It's at the very top. Breon Emsley, great, awesome physique.
Hey the true VG, how are you doing tonight brother? Home from work, under the weather but still, thumbs up, hope all is well with you and the soul pole, sneering face.
Alright, Andrew with a $4.99 donation. I hope you're doing well. Yeah, I'm also under the weather. I hurt my leg and I'm pretty exhausted from the past 2 weeks of headaches here. But yeah, the soul pole is doing just fine there, you know. With all that test going on, it's getting nice and hard there, you know. But again, thanks for the donation. The only issue I have with Clint Eastwood there is he's a little too involved in politics, but I think everyone does that when he gets older. But yeah, he's always a consummate gentleman. Great actor as well. I especially like the movie Gran Torino. What are you spooks doing here? I bet you all the black folks in the movie theater that was watching it probably said, "What's a spook?" Spook is a very old term word there, so yeah. Do you guys know where spook is coming from? Let me explain the word spook and why that's a derogatory term. You see, back in the 1930s, there used to be movies where if they had a black actor in a ghost movie for so forth, they would start running away. In other words, they're spooked out. That's where spook comes from. Y'all might see some buffering in just a minute, so just hang tight there, okay? Yeah, that's just the lag here, so let me see if I can close out a couple of windows. Yeah, might help out with the lag. There we go. But that's where spooks come from. You got to watch an old 30s movie in order to see that. It was working out legs. Like I said, that's the thing. The juice is making me really hit things hard. But the good thing is it's going to allow me to recover quickly. Yes, I heard about that. It's kind of odd, but it was already, it would have had to have been a pre-planned trip, so, you know. I took down the Nick Trigili Gay for Pay video. And there was too much trouble to have up there. And number one, Generation Iron was already making money off of it, and they were still broadcasting the video. The other thing is that it was going to eventually get flagged by YouTube anyway. So I probably would have gotten a community strike for it if I kept it up there. Well, for someone on steroids, it's got to be above 1 gram per pound of body weight. But that's the most I would go on that. I never really so much changed my opinion. My opinion was based on the fact that I was competing drug free at the time. But when you're taking steroids, you need to take in more protein. But good question. But yes, if you're taking steroids, you need to increase your protein. Big Lenny would win the fight all the way against John Fetterman. Yes, I've had people come up to the gym and try to sell me drugs, and I've actually bought them before back in the late 90s. But only from people that I knew had the good stuff. Now I can just walk in the pharmacy and get them. That's a tough one as far as JT is concerned. I think JT would have the edge. I get some of my style from Steve McQueen. You know, Steve McQueen can wear the clothes. If he was still around and wore the same clothes they wore back in the 70s, he wouldn't be out of place there. He's like Cary Grant. He never wore fast fashion. You know, he never went out of style or anything, you know. Larry Wheels really said that? Well, good for him. Probably Jay Masters, although not by much. Both of them have heart problems, but C.T. Fletcher, he's in really bad shape. I've never had a stoner period because I never really liked marijuana. I just couldn't get over the stink of it. Yeah, that's where I mean, guys, I mean, the clothes I bought recently was just two red shirts and two black t-shirts. You don't need all that crap there, $100 shirts and everything. It's ridiculous. Rob P with a $1.99 donation. You'll probably want to have one prepared, but you don't need a resume to get hired on by Verizon. You just have to pass all their crazy tests that they give you. If you can pass a test, you got a good work record to where you've only had maybe one or two jobs within the past 5 years, then you can get hired by Verizon. And of course, you have to have the experience. It also depends on what you're applying for as well. Wally, that's going to be up in the air as far as to who can be inducted. I mean, there's hundreds and hundreds of WWE wrestlers here. Some are not going to get inducted because they went and sued the WWE. If I had to take a guess, maybe the Mulkey brothers. I'm just joking. Legacy class. You know, we ought to run a poll there to have the Mulkey brothers get into the Hall of Fame. That would be pretty cool. Dale, everyone's piling on Sean. Doucette is just trying to get views. Just the usual view zoo. When I eat tuna, yes, I eat it out of the can or the pack. Or what I'll do is I'll put some Engelhofer hot mustard on it and just eat it from the can. Lumberjack type. I've dated guys that had beards and stuff, I mean, but why you ask? It's still all about the personality, you know, and stuff. So I don't have any thoughts on Jason's uncle. He just keeps him under control and under that conservatorship. I know the Piss Troopers don't like him, but in order for me to really say something about him in this case, I would actually have to meet him in person. No, I mean, I wouldn't. The reason why I wouldn't put mayo is because when I was eating tuna, I was still competing, so that would add fat and calories to it. I usually prefer mustard. Mustard practically has no calories in it, no sugars or anything. Well, Sergio's going to have to come up with about $200,000. You see, if you kill someone in a place like Dubai, Sharia law requires you to pay the family, otherwise, you face charges. Only in those countries you can actually pay your way out of something like that, which is a good thing. I think Sergio will end up raising the money or get something worked out with the family. They call it, what is it, chattel or something like that. Dave's getting open heart surgery, so he's probably having problems with a bunch of things, but let's all wish him well, actually. I'm not a cookie cutter. But at the same time, I'm not going to make fun of someone that's in a precarious position. I'm not going to go get on air. If someone's having marital issues, that's not something you really want to touch. And this cigar is done in a way you can tell is that the cigar is actually heating up, so it's killing the flavor. So we'll twist it, not jab it. We'll put it to the side. Great cigar. It's well aged. I only have 3 cigars left in my 3 of those regular Nicaraguan ones left in there, so hopefully I'll get my other ones in. I got Partagas cigars coming in. Hey, Kaizen, I certainly hope you're doing well. I don't have any updates on Brad's new bar. I don't even think it's open just. Well, no, actually it is. Ice Monkey, I don't think technology has gotten far enough to where you can do that. I wouldn't want to be in a robotic body, you know. When your time on this earth is done, you know, I don't want it to be preserved in that particular way. Well, Scatman, as I said earlier, I'm not gonna even get into that. I've had marital problems. Everyone, if you've been married, you've had marital issues. So the only thing I say is just wish the best for them there. Well, Kaizen, I want you guys to learn to twist your cigars instead of jabbing them. That way, when you go to a cigar lounge, you have proper etiquettes, you know. That's why I tell people to twist it. I've been in cigar lounges and I've seen people do that there and then they get yelled at. The reason being is it blows smoke pretty much everywhere, you know. It's not a cigarette, it's a cigar. And jabbing it into doing that in a cigar lounge is a show of disrespect. It's basically telling the proprietor of the cigar lounge that your cigars suck. There are some flavored fused cigars with ice cream flavor in it, but I like the natural flavor of tobacco. I didn't kick veganism exposed out. He may be just taking a couple days off, but he's still putting up videos. He hasn't put one up in a couple of days, so yeah. A link for the tip line, yeah. I mean, I already have it up there, but I'll put that up there again. Buffering should be gone now, so yeah. They're going to be putting in AT&T fiber in a couple of months, so hopefully that'll be in place. So I'll replace the pin message with this message. So, yeah. We're not doing a 4-hour tonight. This will be just for 2 hours because, like I said, I'm pretty exhausted. I do miss my ex-husband sometimes here. You know, we were together for a long time, you know. So, yeah, I do. Poor. Most cigar lounges don't serve Mountain Dew. They don't serve usually any sodas of any type except maybe a Dr. Pepper. But whenever you go to a cigar lounge, they usually serve liquor. Anything non-alcoholic would be something like a ginger ale, a coffee, or seltzer water. I don't think porn stars are manipulated into the industry. They're just motivated by money. Can I update the description? I don't know what you mean. There's nothing feminine about being sad about a marital relationship. That means that he cares, Wally, you know. Nothing wrong with a man crying there for any reason whatsoever. It's not a feminine act or anything. I mean, they're married, you know. You're always gonna be worried about that, you know. I've never cried whenever we were having marital problems, but you know, we have different reactions and stuff. I'm not a believer of putting out any of my personal issues out there. Although I did get yelled at by my mom, but I don't think that was crazy. I'll be doing a video on Cosmic Skeptic pretty soon, but it'll be pretty much similar to the one I did with John Venus. Not the bars that I go to. If there's a bar out there that serves soda, I would have to really question it. A proper cigar lounge should only carry top shelf liquor, you know. Wally, they are still around, just not the movies here. You'll have to watch some indie movies. They're not going to be mainstream movies. I'm not going to do a 7-hour live like Jay Masters there. Most of that was fueled by alcohol anyway. Enemas can be good for you there to clean out your asshole and stuff. You know, and but I mean, the great one doesn't do enemas. But the only time I would, if I had to do that, is if I had some serious constipation. At that point in time, I would consider doing one of those. But that's what I mean by enemas. General purpose is, you know, if you got constipation, that's perfect for getting all the stuff out. I wouldn't get all technical with deadlifts, Raul. Just deadlifts are good for you. It's like brushing your teeth. You know you're supposed to do it twice a day. You know it's going to keep the teeth clean, but you know you don't have to put too much thought process into brushing your teeth. You just take a brush and just move it back and forth. That's the way you should think of deadlifts and bench presses. Don't get too technical. Just know that the bench press works the uh, chest, the deadlifts works the hams and legs. I never try to overcomplicate exercises. Yeah, Kaizen, it was fueled by alcohol. I didn't dox my mom or anything like that, but I privatized the other video there, so, you know. Nobody ever goes radio silent. YouTube has pretty much silenced me at this point in time for videos, but they're around. You just have to do a lot more looking. That's why I like Pluto TV. You know, Pluto TV shows all those old classic shows. And a lot of them are unedited. Joe, I'm not doing a live enema. Again, enema is only for the purposes if I had if I had constipation, for example. That's one example I would consider an enema. But I don't have constipation. I eat a lot of oatmeal, so yeah, I do remember that line, Wally. I think the best Batman was the one with Jack Nicholson. The Heath Ledger one was pretty good too. But I like Jack Nicholson's version of it. Oh yeah, I like the Power Rangers. It's a good show. I don't know if they're still showing that there. They probably are. I mean, the truth is, the Power Rangers have been running since the late 70s, actually, in Japan. Only like 20 some years later, in like 92, is when America picked up on it. But the Power Rangers have been around since the 70s, actually. Most people don't know that. On Pluto, they actually show some of those classic episodes of the Power Rangers back from the 70s and 80s. I've hit on foreigners, and foreigners have hit on me, you know. And I've slept with a couple of them there where I didn't know their language, we couldn't understand each other, but, well, you know, when it comes to having relations and stuff like that, you know, there's not really much that needs to be said, you know, if you know what I mean. So, yeah, I would agree with that there, Wally. I like George Clooney's Batman, so. Red Ranger, he passed away? Oh, well. I'll actually look this one up. Well, technically, that I consider him the Green Ranger. Well, Book of Dark, Matt is right. You do have to work for a living, and sometimes you may not like the job you have, but you got to pay bills. Favorite Star Trek series, Deep Space Nine. It's between Deep Space Nine and the Next Generation. I did like Voyager as well, but I would actually say Deep Space Nine. It was a lot more developed. You had a space station, you had ships, you had the Dominion War and stuff. Star Trek: The Next Generation was sort of like an update from the original Star Trek. Little enhancements. It got a little better during the other seasons. Because the first two seasons of Star Trek: The Next Generation, they did the exact same formula as the Captain Kirk version. They realized they would start losing viewers. That's when they changed. So, yeah. Ooh, that's a tough one, Scatman. I would say Michelle Pfeiffer. I think she made a better Catwoman than Halle Berry. Exactly, Kaizen. It's just stock footage from the Super Sentai series. Yep, you're exactly right. That's why I mentioned the Power Rangers have been running since the late 70s. You should see the first costumes. Those things are awesome. Yep. things happen there. That's why I also didn't want to get into, because that was also over marital issues as well, sort of. I liked all of the first, second, and third ones. The other Batmans, I'm like, not my generation, really. Yeah, Yellow Ranger, she died in I think a Jeep accident. Yeah, his name was Jason David Frank. He actually fought in MMA as well. But I think the suicide was like an impulse moment, no different than Anthony Bourdain. It was an impulse moment. So these things do happen there. So I think Jim Carrey being the Riddler was better than him being the Joker. He would have done a good Joker, but he did an awesome job being the Riddler. You know. And the reason why I say he would have done a good Joker is because he was good in a mask, which technically that's a version of the Joker if you look at it in certain ways. But I think if Jim Carrey was a Joker, it would have been similar to him doing the Mask movie. Chris O'Donnell would be Robin. Fernandez, I would go with the Scarecrow in this case. Either that or the Sandman. Mr. Sandman, bring me a dream. I always thought that was kind of an. It's a good 50s song, but it's also very somewhat haunting. Conqueror and champion. He came, saw, and I've not came again tonight or anything. I think this will be a one. This will be a 1 day one there. So, hey Zach, it's okay if you showed up late. We still got 30 minutes, so just ask any questions you want, and of course we always got the replays. She was Asian, Wally. But I mean, there's been so many different versions of the Yellow Ranger. The original Yellow Ranger for the Power Rangers was actually black. The reason why she showed up for the first episode, but what happened is she actually asked for some actual money and they canned her. The actors from the Power Rangers didn't even get paid, really. I was 13 years old in 1990. Bourdain has eaten some really weird food there and stuff, but he's never eaten any human beings or anything. Well, Joel, if you want to get high, that's your business. Get high. Everybody get high or get laid. Be like Caddyshack, Rodney Dangerfield. Hey, everybody, we're going to get laid. Amy Jo Johnson. I remember back in school, everyone wanted to screw her. I wish Tommy Lee Jones wasn't stuck with Two-Face. I would have preferred him being a. I would have preferred him doing a hero type movie there instead of the. But yeah, he's still a great actor, so he made Two-Face work. I don't think William Dafoe would have made a good Joker. Cuban being Two-Face. Oh boy, Ben Affleck and Matt Damon. Matt Damon would have, as far as Robin is concerned, he would have made a good Robin. I don't think Ben Affleck would have. Yes, I did watch Tales of the Crypt on HBO. That would usually come on before USA's Up All Night. I always the main show I watched at nighttime was USA's Up All Night. So with Gilbert Godfrey. Or that what was the name of that big tittied woman from USA Up All Night? Y'all ever heard of USA's Up All Night? They had this girl with some big giant ass knockers and stuff. Ugh, you know. I may be gay, but I like big titties here, I mean, I really like big titties. Raul, I think single arm deadlifts are a waste of time. I would just do just regular deadlifts. Single lift deadlifts are somewhat of they're a throwback to the 19th century strongmans. So that it can be also quite dangerous as well. Dumbbell flies are going to be effective with dumbbells. But both of them are going to build the chest. The dumbbell flies are going to focus the inner portion of the chest, in my opinion. Barbell bench press just hits the chest as a whole. So they hit different sections of the chest, actually. But I would recommend doing a barbell bench press before doing the dumbbell flies. Fernandez, be nice, be nice. Masters is Ren, and yeah, I get to see that happening. Well, the very original Yellow Ranger again was black. Yeah, they wanted cheap workers that would get paid for practically peanuts. And that's exactly what they got. They got no royalties or anything off those Power Ranger cities. That's why the original Black Ranger actually left. I have not seen The Outsider with Jarrett. But he's going to be you're going to see a lot more of him in the future because of the him playing the Joker and stuff. I think the Joker, being the Joker, pretty much made his career. So there's only good things that's going to come as a result. Rhonda Shear, was that the big titted woman? There was one. Let's go ahead and look that up. What was the name of that big titted woman? Yes, it was Rhonda Shear. Yeah, Gilbert Godfrey was awesome. God, I miss him, No, not Elvira. Yeah, I watched Dinner and a Movie here. Yeah, oh boy. I think a lot of dads said that. Yeah, I saw Toxic Avenger, Meatballs, especially the Meatballs. They had 16 candles up there. They had some of the shows that movies that you would normally not see, like Porky's. Now, the woke media hates Porky's. Who ever watched Porky's, folks? You ever watch Porky's? Porky's the Next Day? And then Porky's 3? Porky's was an awesome movie, you know. They even saw it was being racist, but here's the thing, it's a freaking movie, you know. If you watch Porky's, if you've ever seen the movie Porky's, give me a hell yeah in the chat right now. If you've seen Porky's, give me a hell yeah, folks. Yeah, Zach, she had some big old knockers there. 90 minutes of cardio, Joel, is way too much. You should do 30 to 60 minutes here every other day. Yeah, that was a good era, as well as the USA Cartoon Express. That used to be the channel. And then you had wrestling up there too, and now it's, I don't even know if USA is still around or not. Book of Dark, man, I tell you. Let's be nice about Jason's mother there, Raul. I think actors make more money nowadays because they're not being. It's very hard for actors to be exploited, but it still happens. Not like before. There's a lot of laws in place now to prevent things like that happening. People are a lot smarter now. It's the same with muscle magazines. You see, back in the day, the only way a bodybuilder can get his name out there is to get into a magazine. Now you have social media and stuff like that. You know, Nick Trigili about 20 or 30 years ago would be a washed up athlete, and he would probably be bagging groceries, you know. He would be in the same position as Ken Jones, you know. So in this day and age, times does change to where someone like Nick Trigili can get sponsors and make money, whereas someone back 20, 30 years ago, if he was in that era as far as an IFBB pro, you know, again, he would be bagging groceries and stuff. I mean, that's no disrespect to Nick or anything, but that's just my point as far as to, and without social media, being around Nick Trigili wouldn't even have a channel or any real source of income, per se. Book of Dark, that is not true at all there. There are a lot of... when I worked as a prison guard, I only got 1091 starting out and 1115. That was hardly enough to get paid, whereas a more technical and finance job is going to pay more. But I never consider being a prison guard as being socially unacceptable. It wasn't socially unacceptable in my time. In this day and age, you know, everyone hates the police or anything that has to do with law enforcement. So I guess it is a time thing. So I guess you're somewhat half right and half wrong. Back then for me it wasn't, but nowadays it is. I didn't watch Monday Night Raw on USA because I was a big WCW fan. And they always showed up. I always watch NWA Wrestling on Saturday nights at 6. Which would run from 6 until 8 o'clock p.m. on TBS. I was on MTV's Made I Want to Be a Bodybuilder, but I was just in the background, actually. I was in the back room getting warmed up for getting on stage. I did tell the kid to beat it because he was running all over the place, which everyone was laughing at there. So, but again, like I said, even in those days, I was a big troll. So I don't want someone out trolling someone like me. I mean, that kid was just running around over the freaking place like I'm a star. Like, get the hell out of here. Some people actually want to win the show, you know. And not only that, you know, you got to consider that you're all dieted down, you're all exhausted, you're tired, you're drained and everything. You know, I ain't have time to deal with that. I put that BS on blast, you know. Now that ain't gonna be on any video, but if anyone was at the show and was in that pump up room, they'll vouch for me, telling that kid to shut the hell up. So. No, I watched Animaniacs and I watched the Batman cartoon. That was part of my time as well. The Batman cartoon was the first one that was actually serious and stuff, you know. Animaniacs, Yakko, Wacko, and Dot. Funny stuff. They brought a remake of it, and I watched a couple of episodes, but the time had actually passed for it. And a lot of comedy that they had in the 90s, because you couldn't get away with it in this day and age, it just weakened up the show. No, I don't believe the U.S. should send any troops to the Ukraine. I'm getting tired of all the money that's being sent there, you know. The Ukraine is not part of the UN, actually. It's not part of our federation, per se. I can't even believe we're actually helping them out, considering they're not part of the European Union whatsoever. So it's kind of weird. Yeah, Nitro used to be 3 hours. And the reason why it was 3 hours was to compete with Monday Night Raw, which was also 3 hours. NWO for life. Yeah. What ruined that was that everyone was pretty much in the NWO. I think at this point in time, everyone was in the NWO, including even Booker T when he went to the WWF. You know, just everybody was in the NWO. 95% of the people that were in prison deserve to be there. Definitely. There are a few people that, while they deserve to be there, they didn't deserve the sentence that they actually got. And then some people didn't get enough time, actually, simply because they had a lot of money. I remember one guy, statutory rape there because he came from a rich family. He simply walked in, we processed him, and he walked right out the door. Never saw him again. And while the same person poor, he was in there for months, and then he got like 5 years or so forth. You know, it just depends. The bad thing about prisons and jail and what people hate about it is that the amount of time and punishment you get is dependent upon how much money you got. So, I've seen people that pled guilty when they were actually innocent, but it was simply because, you know, the stakes were against them. They already had a previous record. They wouldn't have been believed in court. So usually they would just take the sentence rather than risk the biscuit. Mm. I wasn't carb depleted, actually. I carbed up that morning. I went downstairs, and the judges did see me eating some fruit, and they thought I was going to be having steak and eggs and pancakes. I'm like, no, no, no. I'm just grabbing fruit, you know. And that was it. But that wasn't a good look for me and the judges here. But if you look at my show and see how I looked in the pictures, you know, I had definitely had the leanest waist, that's for sure, you know. But I wasn't carb depleted at all. I wasn't dehydrated or anything. Whenever I competed that time, I used the Michael Colgan way. I actually drank a lot of water, actually. Uh, you know, and I made sure I took a little bit, you know, so that way my potassium balances out. So It was just, I was just exhausted, but it wasn't carb depletion. I wasn't dehydrated or anything. But I used in terms of, I didn't believe in doing a complete carb depletion or anything like that. Because at that point in time, you can lose a lot of muscle, especially in a drug free show. Even though I was taking the Delta 6 methyl stuff, that's still a pro hormone. But the truth is, you don't need to get super dehydrated for those shows. There's a technique to where if you're drinking more water and you get everything balanced right, you can take out the water out from under the skin. So, yeah. But if you pick up one of Michael Kogan's book, it actually describes it. In fact, let me show you the book. I'll be right back. All right, guys. So this here is Optimum Sports Nutrition, Dr. Michael Kogan. And Michael actually signed the book for me, actually. And let's see what chapter this is in here. Let's see. Well, I think it's in the 4th chapter when they start talking about anabolics. But if you want to learn the technique that I used when I was dieting down in my last couple of days of competing, get this book, Optimum Sports Nutrition. It's a great book, actually. Let me go and get caught up here. Ooh, I missed a lot of questions. Rules, I don't. Bald men don't need to really shine their head or so forth. That used to be like an old school type thing. But once you shave the head itself, what happens is you're scraping away all the oils and stuff. And then the body just replaces those oils on top. So that's why it gets a little shiny. But that's just a natural reaction with shining the hair. That's why it looks shiny. Now, some people actually wax their heads. I don't need to do anything like that. That's sort of like that's an old school type thing. Well, Book of Dark, I wouldn't expect the people of Boston to like that from Charlie Sheen. So, yeah, Batman was awesome there, Wally. Oh, the guy's name, Chris, was... It doesn't matter what his name was! He was just an annoying kid there, Why do I hate Cash Money? Because I think they were more or less like a stereotype there. A poor representation of black people. We've given more than 25 billion, and that doesn't count all the weapons that we've given. But it's way more than 25 billion. Matt Wall says only people who complain about children making too much noise are people who don't have kids. Well, Matt is probably right about that, you know. So. Wally, I never ran into Collie Muscle. He served at a completely different place here. I've never ran into him. Also, no, definitely never ran into him. The closest I've probably ran into was DMX, but I think that was right after I had actually left. If I had stayed there a couple months more, I would have booked in DMX actually. I don't think Bigfoot or werewolves are real. We would have spotted them already. I mean, it's not like a UFO or anything. Does Richard deserve prison? No. If you're talking about vegan gains, he's not really done anything to deserve prison. I would say maybe jail or so forth for those knives, but Canada's a lot different. Any Mexican cartel inmates? Yes. Yes, some Mexican cartel, but these are lower end soldiers here. But I didn't actually speak with them because I can't speak Spanish anyway, so that was usually handled by a translator. Joel, I'm glad you're enjoying this stream here. Speaking of which, folks, we got like 10 minutes left, so get your questions in. Or if you want to put something in for the Swordfish, you can do that too. But this show will end at 12 this time because, like I said, I need to lay down there, so I'm pretty exhausted. Nameless, I'm definitely going to see how far I can get with the physique there, you know. So I'm looking forward to that. I mean, weight's coming down. I'm building up more muscle. I actually weigh more now because I've been building up muscle, so it'll be interesting to see. But my body fat percentage has dropped. And I expect that it's going to continue to drop. Oh, yeah, I heard about that gym teacher. That guy was an idiot. Whatever came of that, he got killed. He got shot up to pieces trying to rob them. Amazingly stupid. I'm not going to focus on dieting down, but I'm focusing right now on getting into better shape and recovering from everything. Weight is weight, Raul. So water weights do work just as well as any other weights. Of course, obviously with water weights, you're not going to get the poundage as an iron weight, but it's still weight. Rules, I didn't really mean to do that, so... Well, I am going to do more live streams as opposed to more videos, so, yeah. Because, I mean, I'm not, you know, I'm going to do less videos. I'm going to do more quality videos and more live streams. I am not making a sleep stream at this point in time. I will do I am probably going to end up doing a a day in the life of type thing. Starting from bed, what my habits are in the morning and stuff like that. Swordfish, that's the name of the club, Swordfish Club. It's a place that I generally go to. I've not been there in about a month or so, but it's a high class place to drink there. You got to make reservations for it, so in order just to get a bar seat. I consider it the same as Dorsey's, so I think that's why people like the Swordfish. It ain't like Dorsey's or anything. On certain occasions, you can actually walk in, but that's definitely frowned on. They want reservations. A lot of times they end up turning people away because it's so crowded. So yeah, because people make reservations. People fight to get in there sometimes. So you know. And sometimes I've called for reservations and they didn't have anything open, so I would just make them for tomorrow or so. I'm not going to go to bed afterwards. As exhausted as I am, I do need to do a couple of more web things, get on Dibby's search engine and check a couple things, and that's about it. Make sure my ads will be running for Eagle 1. No, it just requires reservations. When I go there because they serve not just top shelf liquor, they serve the best liquor, out there. And they have special mixologists that can mix the best drinks. The perfect drink, in other words. It requires reservations. It's a great experience. It's a throwback to the old days here. When you walk into the Swordfish, and you guys have seen pictures of me getting stuff at the Swordfish and drinks and stuff like that. So it's a place of class there. It's something that's more or less needed there. No different than a cigar lounge. Every place needs a Swordfish. No, they're not pretentious mixologists. They're just experts at their craft there. I mean, they're all straight as arrows and married and stuff like that. I will say it's a masculine place. They're very masculine. I mean, they have a moose head on the walls and stuff, pictures of hunting and everything. So there's no rainbow flags or anything like that there. When you go into a place and they have a moose hanging up there, a moose head hanging up on the wall, obviously that is not a liberal place, folks. I'm just going to keep it real with you on that. So what's the minimum tip there? I don't do these shows for tips, folks. But if you donate $3, it shows up on the screen there. So. I mean, you guys never have to pay me in order to do an extra hour live stream. If I have the time or so forth, as I did on Tuesday, I will extend live streams there, folks, and I'll do more. And then sometimes, like, I just do a live stream out of the blue, then, yeah. I think this month and last month I did more live streams than I normally do, so. Yes, they have a Swordfish on the wall. They also have a they have a deer's head on the wall. They have a lot of things they have a lot of mounted animals on the wall. They have American flag, a couple other things there and stuff. Like I said, it's a very masculine place here. Definitely not vegan friendly, that's for sure. And I think I actually showed I think I showed. If you scroll back through some of my posts, you'll see pictures of me at the Swordfish Club. So, is it possible for a person to be a bodybuilder and huge without compromising? The answer to that is no. You can still be pretty fast and bulked up, but not as fast as someone who is trained to be fast, like a runner, for example. They're just not going to mix. That's the name of the place. It's called the Swordfish Club. And that's only everybody that knows that it's around and that it exists. Like I said, it's a very nondescript place. Most people don't know in Greenville that there is a Swordfish Club. You just have to. Someone has to. Usually, they don't. The Swordfish Club does not advertise or anything like that. There was one ad ran in the secret of in one of those papers like Secret Areas of Greenville, and it's just a very nondescript place. If you drive by it, you won't even know that it's the Swordfish Club. There's no advertising. There's no nothing. You just have to know it's there. In other words, no, there's no Klansman outfit on the wall or anything. Do they have stuffed vegans? Yes, that's a moose. Moose and deer eat leaves and stuff. So yes, they have stuffed vegans on the wall there. Book of Dark, I think everyone has had dreams that feel real. So yeah, plenty of them. What would I recommend for someone that wants to be huge but have force to be reckoned with speed? I would probably say being a cross trainer because that gives you a balance of muscle and speed. No, you can't smoke in there. Much like any other bar, you're not allowed to smoke in there. You can smoke outside. So usually after I have a nice drink and everything like that, I'll go outside and I'll have myself a punch cigar or something. Night, Joel. Thanks for joining me in for the show. How many animals that I've mounted? Not too sure, really. A lot. If you're talking about dudes and women, so. SVC had a lot of money. It was propagated by a lot of tech stocks and stuff. Like I said before, if you have Roku, for example, you may want to switch to a Fire Stick. But a lot of companies are going to go out of business, and a lot of venture capitalists are going to go out of business. I would definitely never recommend anyone doing blackface and dress as a Prophet Muhammad unless you wanted to get shot. Bruce Lee was a martial artist. He was never a cross trainer. He worked out for the purpose of being in the martial arts. So his and mine was having low body fat for speed, being lean for speed. Good night, Theodore. Thanks for joining for the show itself here. 1 minute left, folks. If you got a question, you better ask now or wait until Tuesday. No, you can't smoke in the Swordfish. Can't smoke in any bars these days. The only place you could smoke in is a cigar lounge, and that's it. Night, Kaizen. All right, folks, it is midnight, and that is the end of the show. I want to thank Andrew A. I want to thank Rob P. I want to thank Joel for donating. I want to thank everybody else for joining me for the midnight run. Again, it's me, VINCE. Thanks for stopping by and hanging out with me. You folks have a great weekend. Don't think too much of yourself. Don't take yourself always too seriously. Enjoy life. Live life. The only thing you need, folks, is good friends, good drink, and a great cigar. So once again, folks, and I'm going to say it again, have a good weekend, folks. Spend time with your friends. Spend time with your family. That's all for the night. See y'all again on Tuesday or whenever I put out a video. And as always, peace and soul.